The following program was produced by an independent community producer. The opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect those of the ECAT staff or board of directors.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Hold on tight, things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. How are you? It's the Ron Van Dam Show. They said that at the beginning. How are you? Wow, this is great, isn't it? Supposedly. Good to be with you. Thank you for inviting me into your home. Not that you did that on purpose. I'm not really in your home. I'm just kind of like on the screen. I'm not in your home. I'm not going through your refrigerator or anything like that. Don't worry about it. Yeah. This show's a little bit different than the other shows on this channel in the sense that it's just different. If you like this show, my name indeed is Ron Van Dam. If you don't like it, it's Becky Johnson. I don't know who Becky Johnson is, but it's not me. And if you don't like the show, then it has nothing to do with me if you think my name is Becky Johnson. And that's the way this is going to go down. Anyway, I'm sorry to say this at the beginning of every show, but there are some people who have not seen this program before. And all I'm telling you is don't be frightened. I won't hurt you. I've been doing radio for 30 years with about 2 decades and a half worth of television at the same time. So this is like nothing to brag about. And at the same time, it is a fact of life. And that's what I do. And that's what I've been doing. So welcome to the show. Once a week, I come into this grandiose studio. And I do what I do on the radio on a TV camera thing. It's the most unexciting thing you can possibly watch because you're watching a guy just talk in a chair in front of a microphone about absolutely nothing. So whatever. Yeah. On the radio, it's better because you can use your imagination. Here, you can't use it. You can't use it at all. There's no way to use this. Anyway, how are you? Good to be with you. I don't know what town I'm in. What town is this? Easton, they told me. Sounds like a great place to live. There's a town in Massachusetts, I think, and I'm not sure about this, so don't take this the wrong way, but there's a town, and I'll spell it, because I don't know if I'm pronouncing it properly, but it's Athol. Is that right, or is it Atol? It's Athol? How do you pronounce that? Is it Athol? Okay. I don't know how, and I'm sorry if you live there. I don't know if you're watching this if you live there, but I can't imagine living in a town called Athol, Massachusetts, because it sounds like something that I shouldn't be connected to. And if someone asks someone who lives there, like, where are you from? I'm from Athol. Oh my God, yeah, you look like you belong. I mean, it's awful. Don't, move to Easton. Anyway, then there's some towns here that are just named after people indiscriminately, I think. There's a town called Shirley. I know, I don't understand that either. Where are you from? Shirley. Is that your mom's name? No, they named a town after a girl, a guy's daughter. I don't know how they got that name. There probably was an Admiral Shirley. Usually these towns are named after famous military people for some reason. So I guess there was an Admiral Shirley, sir, or Shirley, ma'am. I don't know. And then, of course, just north of Boston, there's a town called Lynn. Okay. What should we call the town? They had probably a town meeting. They just established the town, probably back in 1527 or something. I don't know. And they were sitting around a table there, and they said, what should we name this town? Should we call it Boston? No, they already got that name. Lynn, what do you want to call the town? That's probably how that happened. And, of course, Lynn said, can you name it after me? I don't know. So you got Lynn Shirley, and then you go down the Cape, and we start getting into guys' names. Where do you live? I live in Dennis. In Dennis, you live in his house? What? Dennis, that's where I live, Dennis. No, my name's not Dennis. Is that a comma dentist, or is that where Dennis? Did you say dentist? No, I'd say Dennis. There's some strange names out there, baby. But I wouldn't want to live in them. I don't know. It's kind of weird, I suppose. And then I got Salem, Massachusetts, named after those cigarettes. Yeah, there used to be a cigarette named Salem. Is that correct? Do I have that right? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. Then you got some towns named after food. Mashpee. We have a lot of towns in Massachusetts. Let's start naming them some vegetable names, something healthy and nutritious. How about pea? No, that's going to sound wrong. Some kind of variation on pea if you want to do that. Mashed pea? No, that's the name of an Indian tribe. Well, let's do it anyway. Okay. I don't know. I don't know. Of course, down in the Cape, as they name a lot of their towns after food, they also came up with a town called Sandwich. I'm hungry. What should we name the town? Let's call it Turkey. No, that's already a country. They named the country after Turkey. We can't do that. All right, let's break for lunch. I'm going to go get a sandwich. That's it. Sandwich. But we're too close to mash pea, aren't we? Mash pea sandwich. Oh, my God. This is working out very well. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, we live in this wonderful state of Massachusetts. There's some things horribly wrong with this state, by the way, as you probably know, since you probably live here unless you're visiting. And if you're visiting just to be able to watch this show, welcome. In this state, we have some problems. The biggest problem is, I believe we're ranked number 2. Sometimes we're ranked number 2, sometimes number 4, sometimes number 1, I believe. We have the worst traffic in the country. And if you live here, you say, yeah, that's right. And why? I know that this is an old city, this Boston thing, but we've built new highways, we've built tunnels. Why can't we keep up with this? It's like you get an operation in a hospital and they say, here's a prescription for pain meds. No, I'm not going to need pain meds. I can handle the pain. And then you get what they call behind the pain, and then you take the meds and it's not enough. Well, that's like the tunnels and the roads they build here. They build these roads, and by the time they're finished with them, it's not enough to handle the traffic. It's just, it looked like a good idea, but now that we've built it and taken so long to do it, now the traffic is bigger, and now the road we built is not going to work. And that's what happens. And when you build new roads in this state, you cause more traffic, you see. So your answer causes more problems. I don't know. They should come up with something. I mean, I don't work here, so I don't know. But I mean, I'm not in the engineering construction business. But come up with something here and lessen this traffic stuff. Because I'll tell you something. I used to go to Boston every single freaking weekend because I'm a cultural kind of guy. I was brought up in New York City. I'm kind of like a New Yorker. Don't get down on me for that, but I am. Once a New Yorker, it's always in your blood. It's like some type of horrible disease. So, so that's it, So I'm used to culture. So I go to the theater a lot. I see a lot of plays, and I do stuff, and I go to museums, and I am a cultural kind of guy. I go to concerts and things. I used to. When I got a little bit older, I'm figuring, that's a lot. That's a lot. It's a lot. I used to do everything. Now it's a lot. But I like to go into Boston, and this past year I have made many decisions not to attend certain cultural events in Boston because I can't get there. The traffic is horrendous. In order to go to anything in Boston, and you live in this area, wherever this is, it takes like anywhere from half an hour to an hour and a half. I don't know. So I have to always get there early or get there too late, or it's never just right. And I'm kind of sick of it. I'm sick of sitting in traffic in order to do something. Sometimes it takes me longer to get into Boston and get out of Boston than it does for the actual event that I'm doing. I see a 2-hour play, but I spent 3.5 hours on the road to get there and get home again. It just doesn't make sense anymore. And I want everybody to know that. And I want the officials of the Boston Air to know that there are a lot of people that just aren't going to your city anymore because it's like impossible to get to. Thanks for making such a world-class airport, but how do you get to it? You sit in a tunnel for 2 hours? What's going on here? So that's a very big problem, and nobody seems to be able to solve that problem. Then there's a problem of the homeless, because even if they had a home, they can't afford it. That's another problem. The biggest problem of all is something that was brought to light on a local news channel, and it's absolutely true that we are indeed the place to go to for medical things. People fly here from other countries to get their medical situations here. They come here for their medical resolves, for our hospitals, etc., and our doctors, and our medical universities. But with all that notoriety, people in Massachusetts can't find a doctor. We don't have that many people in this state. It's not like we're overrun with people here. It's not that big. But yet we can't find doctors. And believe me, when you have a medical condition or you've been diagnosed with something, you don't fool around. You cancel everything else to take care of your medical condition like now. And with some of these conditions, the longer you wait, the worse it can be. And yet the answer is, well, you're going to have to wait like 4 or 5 months to get an appointment. We're all backed up. Why? And their answer is basically, we don't have enough doctors. Do you know what my response is to that? Then get some. Put a call into the other states and say, hey, we're Massachusetts. We're the big people here. We're the stars of the medical profession. Move your asshole to Massachusetts and become a doctor here. We can use you. It's just weird that we would have a crisis like that. And then you have companies like Stewart Medical, who own hospitals and health groups, and they have publicly said to the state, we really don't want to be in the healthcare business anymore. What? You're a little bit now, what? There was Compass Medical, as you probably know, here on the South Shore of Massachusetts, that all of a sudden just closed their door. Nobody had an inkling. Maybe on the inside they did, but not to anybody else. I don't know if the Compass Medical doctors knew about it, but certainly the patients didn't. And one day they went down to the medical facility and the doors were closed, and they said, sorry, out of business. We'll contact you someday. I don't know, whatever. And they just closed the doors. How can you do that? Is that legal? Can you do that? Are you allowed just to do that? Apparently you are. Hospitals are overrun as they are. Close a couple of them down? We've already closed down a few in this area. We closed the Norwood Hospital. It's got another name. I don't know what it is. It's that hospital in Norwood, we call it. And it got flooded. Did somebody leave the front door open by mistake during a rainstorm? What happened there? They got flooded. The whole hospital got flooded. And if I recall, I think I passed it once. Geographically, it's not like on a hill or anything. Got flooded. Shut the whole thing down for years. Then Brockton Hospital, that's some town in the area. I don't know. Brockton Hospital recently was supposed to open, isn't, because they had a fire. And because it's a hospital, you can't screw around with something like that. So the hospital closed down. Okay, that's like a big deal. To my knowledge, it's still not open. It depends on when you're watching this show. I really don't know. It's always supposed to open, but then it doesn't. Yeah, now, but in a couple of months. No, but now we're delayed or something. I don't know. You can't fool with people's medical stuff. You can't. You can't fool with their medical stuff. You can fool with their salaries, their jobs. You shouldn't, but it happens. But don't fool with their medical security. Don't do that. Oh no. If something's wrong with you and it's serious, you got to be treated right away. There's no holding on the phone. And that's another thing. Why, when I call any doctor or any location, do I have to wait for so long to speak to somebody? And this is Massachusetts, the king and queen of the medical profession. It's inexcusable. I don't know if you have children or not, or if you're a child yourself. Probably most of you have children. Do you remember the day, if you're not going through this right now, when your child gets sick, but really sick, with a really high temperature, or something that's horrible, or they have asthma, they can't breathe? Well, call 911 and we'll bring you to the hospital and put you in the hallway for 2 hours. If you're lucky, it's only 2 hours. That'll make your asthma go away. We'll frighten the hell out of you about how we can't take care of you. When your child is sick, that's not funny anymore. That's the most important thing in the world. And as a parent, we all say to ourselves, if only I could have that problem and my child didn't, I would certainly take that on myself. But to see my child suffer like this without any immediate resolve and reaction, it cannot be. So I say to Massachusetts, yeah, fix the traffic. That sucks. But first, fix the medical thing. You make sure that each and every person that seeks medical attention for a real reason is seen immediately, and that there are plenty of facilities that can see them. And I'll tell you something, I have great confidence in nurses and medical assistants and nurse practitioners. They're all great, and they know kind of as much as doctors. They just can't prescribe, but knowledge-wise, they're pretty much up there. I trust them. Let's get them out on the road. Let's get them into these hospitals, into these doctors' offices. Let's get some more doctors going here. All right. Sorry for spouting off, but I believe you feel the same way that I do, especially if you have children. You realize what I'm saying. It's not something to fool around with. I didn't really plan to talk about this today, to be honest with you, but it's just something that is so immediate that I think it must be taken care of. All right. At my radio show, I do a national thing. So for me to talk about something fairly local is kind of futile and not appropriate. But as I'm sitting here in a studio in Massachusetts, I think I can be a bit more direct. That's what I've done. Speaking of that, I'm doing this show during the third week of February, which is a school vacation week. Now, by the time you're seeing this, that vacation week is over. But I'll tell you something, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I've talked about this before. This is the President's Day was prior Monday. And they said, well, that holiday is so important. Like we're celebrating the birthdays of presidents. Ooh, where's the cake? It's such a tumultuous, wonderful holiday. We do sell a lot of mattresses and cars and refrigerators. Let's not forget them. So it's a big deal. So let's give the kids the week off from school. What do you say? We'll call it winter vacation. Ooh, wait a minute. Didn't we have one of those between Christmas and New Year's? Wasn't that the winter? Wasn't that a whole week off sandwiched between two holidays? I kind of get that. That's the winter vacation, is it? No, it's not. It's not good enough because they're kids. So let's give them another winter vacation the third week of February. Why? I don't know. And then we'll send them back to school, and a month and a half later, we'll give them a spring vacation. Wait a minute, what the hell's going on with these vacation things? And then let's give them the entire summer off. How are you seasoning your children for the real world? Do you think they go out and they get a job? And in the job, they say, oh, well, welcome to the company. You have 2 weeks vacation a year. Excuse me, only 2 weeks? Yeah, maybe 3 weeks if you're lucky. No. I'm used to a week off every season. I want 2 off in the winter and 1 off in the spring and the whole summer off. Well, get your stuff and get out of here. You're fired. How are we preparing the kids? By having them miss so much school, not miss it, it just isn't there. I don't get it. In other countries, these kids are in school a lot longer and learn a lot more. We're teaching the wrong things in the shortest amount of time. What can I tell you? I took geometry for 2 years. Never ended up being an engineer. Never had to use anything that I learned geometry-wise. I know what a triangle is. I know what a cube is. I know which ones don't fit into the other. I know what right angles are. I can pretty much, do a little chart and things like that. And that's the extent of what I would need to do with geometry. The hypotenuse and I don't need it. You wasted my time. You wasted my time in my writing class. I had a writing class in every school I ever went to. They called it English, and they taught me how to write in script. They called it script, where you used fancy writing. That's like how you're supposed to sign your name. And years they did that. It was penmanship and all that stuff. And then magically, you don't need it anymore. Because nobody does it, and we don't sign things anymore anyway. We use our fingerprints, or we print our name. And if you sign it, you just, it doesn't have to look like anything that your name is about. But, we don't sit down and write love letters anymore, or business letters. We don't do that. What a waste of years that was. Algebra, maybe a little bit. But anything beyond that, calculus, up your Athol, Massachusetts. You got to be kidding me. What a waste of time that was. You could have taken a lot of that time and showed me how you figure compound mortgage rates, interest rates, how you invest, things like how you balance a checkbook, which they don't even have those anymore, but I do. You don't. But how you balance a checkbook. Life skills, how to cook. How about that? Ron, we did have cooking classes in school. Not for guys, you didn't. How sexist was that? The guys went to a shop class, which had nothing to do with shopping. It had to do with carving wood, making a lamp and an ashtray. That was for the guys because there was heavy equipment involved. Girls, they went to home economics, which was what? What are you calling it? It's cooking. So guys didn't learn how to cook, and girls didn't learn how to make anything. It was sexist 101 is what it was. And I had biology class in middle school, and we dissected a frog. I don't know why. We couldn't eat it afterwards, so what was the point of that? I saw the inner workings of a frog. Never came up. Yeah, I could give mouth-to-mouth resuscitation to a frog. Resuscitation or cessation, whatever. But I don't understand. All the stuff I learned was not You know what sex education was for me? The teacher would draw a test tube on the blackboard. That to me was sex education. That's it. So, that's it. All right, let's see. Let's recap because I'm going to leave pretty soon. I'm not staying here longer than half an hour. I just refuse. I'll come back again next week, but I'm not staying any longer today. All right, we talked about Massachusetts, how a wonderful state it is, certainly, but at the same time, we got some major problems that we're not really solving at all. Traffic and medical availability. I mean, and let's do the medical thing first and the traffic after, but let's do both of those, okay? Because people aren't going to move here with this kind of crap going on. Your reputation is going to go downhill very, very quickly as soon as anybody finds out that this crap's going on here. And then we talked about school vacations, too many of them. How are parents supposed to go to work from 9 to 5 if they have to watch their children all afternoon? That doesn't work either. There's nothing for child care. Your child comes home from school. There's no parent there because the parent works until 5:30, doesn't get home till 6, and the child gets out of school at 2:30, 2:45 in the afternoon. Figure it out so that the parents, we need two incomes so that the parents can go work a regular job and be successful, and the kids can take care of themselves or have some program where they can stay after school and learn how to dissect a frog. All right. And I'm going to complain about one more thing about the town of Easton. I don't know where this town is, but here's the problem. And take care of this for me, please. One of the greatest things you've done, which I enjoyed greatly, was your Taste of Easton, I believe you called it, which was very tasty. And all the local restaurants in any given town, Taste of Randolph, Taste of Boston, Taste of Athol. Maybe you don't want to do that one. They were fun. The local merchants would offer their foods, and you would say, oh, I'm going to that restaurant. And you would, because that food was cool. It was good. And you saw your neighbors, and it was just a wonderful social event and wonderful food, and the ticket prices were a little high, but worth it because it was only once a year. And then COVID came, and things got stopped. COVID's gone. It's no worse than a bad cold or the flu. Yes, you can die from it, but if you take your shots, you're going to be fine. We all go to movie theaters. We go to restaurants. We do all kinds of things where there's tons of people on top of us. So stop with this COVID stuff. Let's have the taste of Easton or the taste of any given town. Bring it back. Let's get back to where we were right now. And fix the medical, hospital, and healthcare system so that we don't have to be insecure about our health safety. Because you know it, it's like your car breaking down or death. I mean, it's like you're going to get sick, and when you do, you're going to want it taken care of really well and quickly, not 5 months later. Let's start using our brains. If we have such a wonderful state, then we must have the greatest minds in the world living here. Find them, put them in the room, like they're being sequestered for a jury duty thing, and don't let them leave till they figure this all out. It's not for me to figure out. I'm not the smart one. They are. Get them together. Let's get this done. I am out of time for today. Listen to my, every weekday I do a brand new show, The Ron Van Dam Show. Google that, newenglandbroadcasting.com, and we'll become buddies. Not really, but, commercially. I wish you peace.